Hi, this is BZ Rieger, and I'm doing a rambling by the river, and this is actually a little creek that's just about to head into the Stilly River. The sun is nice. And I was nudged to do a rambling about being attached to the linear storyline. So whether it's our own personal storyline or one of our own personal storylines going on in our lives, or if it's the storyline that we may look at out there, which, we're part of, but there's different ways, many different storylines going on in each being's life. And what does it feel like not to be attached to that storyline, not to be waiting for that storyline to unfold, if it's a work storyline or if it's what's going on with transparency and everything unfolding, unwinding and unbinding, and is your thought of that storyline, well, it'll be nice when it happens, or I wish it would happen, or why isn't it taking so long, or whatever it is. And that's waiting for the storyline to unfold, and only experiencing it from a linear, energetic perspective, and a tangible, touchable perspective. The interesting part on waiting or anything else when you're attached to the storyline is that without realizing it, you're affecting the storyline. You're holding it up, you're waiting, and when you're in waiting, it's a very powerful energy, and you're holding the waiting that you're waiting for. So you keep waiting. And that's the case with however else you interact with different storylines. So if it's in a way that's excited and open-hearted, and you're interacting with the storyline, and you're co-creating with the storyline, and you've stepped into the full multidimensionality of the storyline, now you're really on fire. Now you're doing some cool quantum computing, quantum configuring in all of your being, and you're bringing things to fruition. So someone just said, well, what's the difference? Well, one is linear, so you're thinking it pretty much completely rather than being in an energetic dance with it, in coherence with it, and you're not actively participating in a conscious way. It doesn't mean you have to be running around. It doesn't mean you have to be, getting into fights or, putting in 1,000,000 hours. Or it could be any of those things. But when you're consciously engaged, you are coming from an open heart. You're coming from, because when you're consciously engaged in something, your heart is open. So they work in tandem with each other. And that avails you of all of your sensory array. And it changes everything. So you could do a test. You could notice, how much you're attached to the storylines, and kind of how that is dictating your actions or your feeling about the speed or the lack of speed with something is unfolding. And then once you kind of notice that and really see how a particular storyline, it could be a single storyline from someone in your family to you and back and forth, and that's a storyline. Or like I said, it could be within you in a task, creative task you want to do, so that's a storyline you've created. Or in work, or in relationships, or in different experiences. So all myriad of things, those are all different storylines. They're all different energetic envelopes. They're all different realities that you are popping open and creating. So the first part of the play would be to notice it, and how are you perceiving it, if you are, and perhaps maybe start to perceive it. and the storyline, and your noticing of it, your interaction with it, your co-creation with it, or your attachment um, to it, of it, with it, and then um, set up some ways that you can consciously then shift shift your relationship, shift your interconnectedness, your interplay, your actions, right? And notice how that then shifts what's going on, the quote unquote speed or lack thereof, what's unfolding, the more availability of data that flows in. And you'll find as you play with these things and notice them, as with anything else, that they're there, they're real, they exist, and wow, look at that. It's I have an effect on it, and I can shift different things in it simply by being in noticing stage, paying attention, conscious of it, consciously playing with it, interacting, co-creating with it. So after that part of play, and you're setting different proofings up, then really go to town. Then just have a lot of fun and start to play with everything. Start to notice everything. Start to you'll be thrilled about the different storylines, because now it's not something that someone else is doing that's making you wait. You'll notice all different places to jump in and interact, to jump in and co-create, to jump in and polish up your own frequency, your own consciousness, your own vibration that you're sending out, because you really were not wanting to, create this part of it. You wanted to actually let that go. You wanted to create something over here. And this is just one more of myriad ways to play and to notice, but it's tapping into, turning on, fully stepping into all of your consciousness and widening the aperture, wider and wider and wider, of your consciousness, of your quantum abilities, of your multidimensionality. And it's showing all over the place. Everybody's is. You can't stop it. Can't hide it anymore. And it's glorious. I mean, even just something as wonderful as sitting by the river and watching the play of the water and the breeze and the light on the stones down in the river and all of that, and just like you can do it with clouds, you can do it with everything. Some things, because there's not as of a propensity to be attached to moving the clouds or not, or even dissipating the clouds or having them form or other things like that, that it's a good tool to play and flex your muscles. So, are you attached to the storyline? And are you unattached to some storylines and more attached to others? And what's the difference? And why is there attachment on one and not on another? And as you kind of pinpoint the different characteristics and energy frequencies around that, from not only coming from within you, but and the energy flow in between, those will be helpful tools for you in everything else that you want to do in fully stepping into your multidimensionality and being a kick-ass creator being. So, enjoy the day and playing. I'm actually working, but I'm down here on a project, so I'm taking a moment to be with you. I love you.